I was just holding it like this along with my purse and whatever, and 3 people were like, oh my gosh, I love your lunch bag. And I was like, it's actually my knitting bag, but there is an apple inside. It's super cute. I don't know, I guess I loved it so much I thought I could do it, but then I never had the confidence to do it, so I didn't do it. Hi friends, it's been a while. I am Kat and this is the 4Hooks, 4Loves knitting podcast. I am so happy to finally be back in my podcast chair sharing my knits with you. It's been, oh gosh, I think the last time I recorded was August and it is now October. And I am coming to you from a really chilly Toronto, Canada today. It's only about 4 degrees here today, and I actually just gave in and put the heat on a couple days ago because the house was freezing and I was bundled up, but I felt bad because my dog was shivering, so we had to give in and put the heat on. So, you know, it's been a little while since I've podcasted for a few reasons. One of them being that I really have a hard time finding myself just alone without kids, so without disturbances. And this is the evidence right here. So I said, finally, you know what? It's just real. It's just real life. I'm not fake, and what you see is what you get. So I'm sorry if the kids coming in and out or opening and closing the door is a bit of a disturbance, but hopefully it doesn't bother you and you stick around anyways. So without further ado, I'm going to get started. Let me just open this freezy for my son. 1 second, please. Okay, that is done. Sorry. Hopefully we won't have too many interruptions. And yeah, let's just get started. So it has been a little while. So the couple things that I have finished that I wanted to show you are actually 2 of them are more summer-ish makes. Shh, you gotta be quiet for mommy, okay? No, thank you. Yeah, so the first one is my Ripple Bralette, and okay, this is not gonna work, give me a second. All right, and I'm back. So sorry about that interruption. Hopefully the rest will go smoothly. All right, so I was talking about what I'm wearing. I finished this back at the very beginning of August. This is the Ripple Bralette by Jessie May. And I'll put a little video here or here of like showing it off more because you can't really see sitting down, but I really do love this pattern. The last one I made, I love it, but I feel like maybe it was a little bit too short or cropped. So I wanted to make, even though I still wear it, I wanted to make another one that was a bit longer. So for this one, I actually, I tried to use more of the yarn to make it longer. And so what I did is I did a 2.5 inch ribbing. I don't know if you can see here, 2.5 inch ribbing. And then I knit the body up to the underarms 9 inches. So that was between that plus the rib, that was about 11.5 inches for the body. And that was when I had to separate for the top, front, left and right front. And that was it. Then after that, for the straps, I knit my straps for 44 rows. So unstretched, it was, how long was that? 8 inches. And stretched out, it was 10.5 inches. So I actually felt like the straps were a little bit too tight, and what was happening is it was instead of the underarm sitting here, it was just like right up in my armpit and it felt like it was pulling. So, but I didn't want all of it to grow too much. So I just took the strap parts and soaked it in the sink under some water and squeezed it out and then put it on and let it dry on my body so that it got the right length and shape that I needed. And now the straps are a perfect fit, a perfect length. So I love it so much. I love this color. This is yarn by Cozy Posy Yarn Co. and it's called Graffiti Girl. I've had this skein of yarn, I think at least 2 years now. And I was like, I don't know what I want to make with it. I just had no idea, but I knew I loved it so much. It's just got these light, nice dark teals and dusty pinks and purples and a little bit of yellow and green. And I don't know, it's just the prettiest color. This is what I have left. Oh, I just love it so much. How much did I use? So because I knit this top longer than the pattern recommended, I did use up more yarn, which is fine because, you know, the original pattern barely uses half a skein, I think. So the amount I had left over, like when I weighed this is 22.9 grams. So I used about 77 grams. If I make another one, I would be happy even going longer. Like I thought I went long enough, but I guess, honestly, I would even like it to be 2 to 3 inches longer. I mean, I guess I want more of a camisole, not a bralette, but, and I know there is the camisole pattern, but whatever, I can just work with what I have. And I don't know, I know I can obviously get a lot more out of this. I don't know how much more. Like, could I get it? I don't know. I'd have to knit and maybe weigh after the ribbing to see if I knit another one in another yarn to see how much that weighed to know what I can work with. I don't know if that makes sense. But I would like to, ideally, if I make this top again, use up as much of the skein as possible so that I want to maximize on my length, basically. Like, I am tall and I do have a long torso, and I know I said I'll put in a video because it's a little hard to see, but so these are very high-waisted pants. And let me see, so my belly button is right here. And these are very high-waisted pants, but I mean, I would like it to be at least another, what is that? Yeah, I think 2 inches. We'll see. I don't know if I'll make another one. I won't do it now. If I do it, it'll be like spring, summertime. But okay. So that's my FO number 1. FO number 2. Hang on, I'll put it on. Okay, so FO number 2 is my Ranunculus number 2. So my first Ranunculus, I had followed the original pattern before there were multiple sizes. Sorry, my son is back. I hope that's not too loud if you are wearing earphones. He just wants me to open his snack. Okay, here you go, buddy. Okay, here you go. Okay, here you go. Take it out. Put this one in the garbage, please. Okay, good boy. Okay, so what was I saying? My original Ranunculus, my first one is the one I made. Oh, I'm sorry, that must be so loud. So the first Ranunculus I made was the original pattern prior to the pattern being remade in multiple sizes. And so it is, even though it fits, it's a little bit too fitted for me. Like I do wear it and I love it and I get a lot of compliments on it, but I wanted to make one with a lot more positive ease. So I did. You can see all the positive ease, but you know what? I absolutely love it. Okay, which size now? I forgot to write down. Let me see if I wrote it down. No, I didn't. I don't remember which size I knit. I think, no, I don't have it here. I'm sorry. I think I knit the 3rd or the 4th size. Whatever it was, I'm pretty sure I knit it in order to achieve about 12 to 14 inches of positive ease. And I think I got that. Like there's about, I mean, it's hard to tell with me wearing it. There's about 6 inches on each side. And I wanted it to be a very lightweight spring and summer top. So I made it out of this yarn called Antigone. I don't know how to actually pronounce it. It is by, I think it's by, is it by Durarum Natura? Yes, it's by Durarum Natura. Antigone or Antigone. And it is 100% linen. Yeah, 100% linen. And this is the color Loon. I actually used 2 full balls plus a little bit of the 3rd ball. So this is my 3rd ball. Literally, I only needed the 3rd ball to do the 2nd sleeve. So I knit the 3rd or the 4th size. I followed everything to pattern. I did the wider neck cast on for the wider neck, and I did the actual cast on that was in the pattern, the double loop, whatever cast on that was, which I've never had success with before, but this time for some reason it clicked. And I noticed there was one stitch in the pattern that the first time I made this top, I actually was knitting it wrong. And so one of the patterns here in the yoke, it wasn't coming out so clearly on my other shirt, but this time I watched her video and I did it properly. It had something to do with I think it was the knit back front, which I just assumed was the reverse of a knit front back. So I kind of made up my own thing, but this time I actually did what she shows you in the videos. And it was great. So just in case you don't know, I don't think I mentioned it. This is the Ranunculus by Midori Hirose Knit. That's the designer. So let me see. I knit it on 6mm needles and I used 5.5mm needles for the ribbing. It's a fingering weight yarn, 100% linen. Okay, this yarn, when I first started knitting with it, it felt like I was knitting with like a hockey net or a fishing net material. It was so rough, but the more and more I used it, my son is back. The more and more I used it and wore it, and it really, like the more I knit with it and the more I handled it, and then the more I started wearing it, and after blocking it, excuse me, it's really softened up a lot, and I just love how much drape it has. I would definitely work with this yarn again. I'd probably even knit another ranunculus in this yarn. It's I can't say it's your softest yarn, like it doesn't feel like a cashmere or anything by any means, but it really is nice and cool to wear on a hot spring or summer day. So that being said, what are the measurements here? So before I blocked it, it was from the neck to the waist, 20 inches long. And I really liked that length. And I figured it would grow maybe a little bit after blocking, but I didn't realize quite how much it would grow. So it grew a lot. I can't remember the exact measurements, but let me stand up and show you. So this is where it sits on me now. Like, here's my hips. It's just a little bit longer than my hips. But after blocking, it was like down to here. I'm not even exaggerating. It was an extra probably 3 inches for sure. Look at that drape. So, I mean, as much as I wanted to be done with it, because once I finish knitting something, I just want to wear it. I don't want to keep fiddling with it. I just knew that I wouldn't wear it like that. So I ripped back the hem. There was 3 inches of hem ribbing. And then I also ripped back, I think about 2 inches of, 2 to 3 inches of just stockinette. And then I replaced that with I just did 2 inches of ribbing. So that fixed the length perfectly. And then what did I do after that? That was it. And I knit the option that was for the sleeves, for the long sleeves. I didn't do the short sleeves. I did the long sleeve one, but once I got to the point to pick up the sleeves, I just knit 10 rows of stockinette, 10 rounds. And then I did about 1 inch, which was, I think also happened to be about 10 rounds of ribbing. The sleeves did grow a bit too much for me. I would have liked them to be shorter, but they work. I don't get hot in them. They're so loosey-goosey that totally fine with me. So overall, I'd say I am really happy with this FO. I mean, I think it's so pretty. I really like it. I like things loose and baggy. I'll wear fitted things too, but I like to try everything. Almost everything. Not really everything. What am I saying? But this is totally my style. All right, so let me see. Next, where are we going next? I think I'll just keep this on. It's a little chilly. If I get chilly, I will change. But for now, I'm just gonna keep this on. Okay, so last time I podcasted back in August, I showed you my sock that I finished by Lollipop Yarn. This was called, I believe this was the Happy Birthday color on the quintessential base, which is an 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. And I had cast on 64 stitches. I think I did a 15 row cuff, 45 row leg, and about a 65 row foot. And since then, there's a matching pair. It didn't take me that much long after to finish the matching sock, and I do love them. But if I'm being honest, they do have a little bit more positive ease than I would like. I would like them to be a little touch more fitted. So with that in mind, even though they fit great, they were just a little bit loose. I want them to be a little more snug. So with that in mind, let me take them off these blockers. The pair I cast on right after that is also a yarn I purchased from Lollipop Yarn. I actually purchased it at the very beginning of August, and it arrived right before I left for vacation in the middle of August. So I took it with me and started knitting them on vacation. And you can see even just the way it fits on the blocker. Screeny. The fit is so much better. So this is my best fitting sock yet. And so I wrote down everything I did for this one, and I immediately cast on another pair of socks when I finished these, and I'm following the same pattern I did for these. So they're just vanilla socks. I kind of follow a mixture of the Crazy Sock Ladies vanilla sock pattern and Maddie Hobbs, made by Maddie from We Share Needles podcast. She has a Never Better Socks. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I kind of do a mixture of both of those patterns, but what did I do here to make it different? Okay, so what I did is I cast on 60 stitches. All right, so he's back. Buddy, you have to stop coming and opening the door. Oh my goodness.
Mom, what are you doing?
I'm doing a video. Here you go. Okay, bye-bye. All right. Close the door behind you, please. So first of all, this is Lollipop yarn and the colorway is Bubblegum. So I cast on 60 stitches and right off the bat, I goofed. I did a 1x1 rib and I wanted to do a 2x2 rib, but I wasn't about to rip it out. I said, forget it. 1x1 rib is fine with me. So I did a 1x1 rib. And again, I did 15 rows for the cuff, 45 row leg, and 65 rounds for the foot. So I am a size 10 foot. So when the foot was about 8¼ inches, when it measured 8¼ from the back heel to the end, that's when I started, when I cast on the toe. I tried to get them to match as much as possible. I mean, they're not starting in the exact same color spot, but it's fine, it's close enough. And anything else I wanted to say about these? No, I don't think so. The fit is great. I'll do all my socks like this from now on. The only thing I'll do different is for the leg. I think I'm gonna make my legs longer, maybe 60 or 65 rows. I wanted them, and this is where I was following what Maddie said. When she makes what she calls her dock socks, so socks to wear in her docks and just have them peek through the top, she does a 45 row leg. And so I thought, oh, that's perfect because I hate wearing socks, but I love wearing my docks and I want to have socks to wear with my docks. So I did what she said, but I didn't take into account that I'm a lot taller probably than Maddie. So my leg is quite a bit longer. And so I think in order for mine to pop up above my docks, I need I need to knit a longer leg. So either way, they're still gonna get worn with my docks because that's the only time I wear socks. But I can't believe I've been knitting socks. This is my 3rd pair. All right. Uh-oh. Sorry. Okay, so my last 2 FOs are actually for a friend. They're going to be gifted to a friend of mine who had twin boys back in, was it January now or February? Anyways, I started knitting these in summer when I was at the cottage in August. And I know it's been a bit. I think I finished them pretty quickly. They've honestly been sitting on my table waiting for me to find the right buttons for these cardigans. So I knit the baby boys cardigans, and I mean, let me just show you. Why am I talking? So I made the Elwood Cardigan, and that is by Jenny Weeb, who I think her handle on Instagram is Vangy Knits, V-A-N-G-Y Knits. What can I say? This cardigan, I actually had this cardigan. I had purchased it so long ago with the intention to make for my baby boys. My first baby boy is now 10 and my second baby boy is now 8. So that's how long I've had this pattern. I don't know. I guess I loved it so much I thought I could do it, but then I never had the confidence to do it, so I didn't do it. So anyways, I loved it. What drew me to it is that it's like an old man cardigan. with this big shawl collar. And I don't usually like stripes. In fact, I really hate stripes other than stripes on socks. So, but I had to make it striped. So this is the 12-month size. And this one is the 18-month size. I mean, you guys, I can't. Like, I don't even have a little baby to fit these, but how adorable. I might make one for my little Ben. I have to see what size it goes up to, but I love it so much. And I think the buttons turned out great too. I just picked them up at Fabricland, which is our local sort of fabric and notions and sewing notions store. So what yarn did I use? Okay, so they're for babies. They're for a busy mama of twins. So I wanted something that was machine washable, obviously. So I made these in Lion Brand Heartland, which is 100% acrylic. And there was one other yarn I used as well. But first, the Lion Brand Heartland. The gray is the Great Smoky Mountains colorway. And the teal is the Glacier Bay colorway. Okay. So this one is for the bigger of the two boys. One of them is quite a fair bit larger than the other. They're so cute. And this one, again, the gray is the Great Smoky Mountains from Heartland, but the mustard is something I pulled out of my stash. I had it for, oh my gosh, over 10 years now, I think. It was a Yarn Bee Rustic Romantic, and the colorway is called Oaky Wheat /09. So Yarn Bee Rustic Romantic. It is 85% acrylic and 15% hemp. So I'm hoping this is machine washable. I don't know what these washing signs mean. I think it can be washed in cold, but I don't know if it goes in the dryer. It might. I'm not sure. But I think it'll be fine. The pattern was super easy to follow. I mean, I really hated changing colors each time and changing yarn, but it was fine. There was just a lot of ends to weave in. So the pattern, again, was easy to follow. There were short rows for the shawl collar. And actually, the short rows were a new kind of short row that I had never done before. It was the Coco Knits method of short rows, which was, what did they call it? Was it yarn overs? Something. It was really interesting and super easy. And Coco Knits has a photo tutorial of it on the website, and so this pattern has a link to that tutorial. It was really cool, really easy to follow. So I did that. The only place I goofed, and I hope it fits. So you see here, like, the sleeves are all sort of like similar sizing to the rest of the body. Well, over here, unfortunately, so I knit the cardigan, I knit the bottom ribbing, you go down to a smaller size needle for the bottom ribbing, and then you go back to pick up for the sleeves. Well, I forgot to switch back to the larger size needle, and I didn't realize until I was practically done the second sleeve. So I didn't want to rip them out. And this little baby's tinier, so I'm hoping his tiny arms will fit through these sleeves. He might have a fitted sleeve. I haven't attempted to block it yet. It's 100% acrylic, so I really don't even know if it would grow if I block it. If I try to stretch out the sleeves, I mean, let me know. Would it? I don't know. I've never tried with acrylic to stretch it out. They feel a little tight, and part of me, you know, the part of me, the perfectionist in me, wants to rip them back and redo it, but there's another part of me that really doesn't want to and thinks it's gonna be fine. So I'm gonna mail these off. I love them so much. I'm gonna mail them off. Oh, one more thing. So you see like the striping pattern goes down the sleeve. Well, I ran out, I was running out quick of the mustard and I didn't have any more. I just had the one ball. So after I did two mustard stripes on each sleeve, then I just transitioned to gray all the way to the cuff. I think it looks fine. I think it looks fine. If I had time, I would make one for their bigger brother too. But we're moving into holiday season, and there's a project I have planned that's going to take up quite a bit of my time, I think. So I won't really have time to do that. Maybe down the road. But yeah, so I mean, screenies. I don't know. How can I just love it. Let me try one with this one. I don't think I can hold them both up at the same time. No, I want the shawl collar folded. Oh, I wish I had one of these for my babies. Anyways, okay, so that's enough of that. I tend to waffle on, I'm sorry. So I don't really have any works in progress. Well, I do, I have a sock. This is a yarn that I got. I ordered this on Boxing Day last year, right after Christmas. I ordered it from a store we have called the yarn store called the Creative Knitter, and it is yarn that was dyed by Rose Hill Yarns, and I believe it's called Solar Wind. Yes, Solar Wind. It's not it's not like a self-striping like with the actual equal stripes or anything, but I think it's coming out really pretty. So this is just another vanilla sock on my needles, following the perfect size for me, perfect fit. And what else did I want to say? I have casted on I mean, who hasn't? Like the whole world has the West Knits MCal, the Twists and Turns MCal, but I'm not going to show it yet. I did finish Clue 1, but I'm behind in starting Clue 2. I basically started Clue 2 at the very end of the Clue 2 week, right before Clue 3 was coming out. So I'll just show that on the next one. I've been talking a lot. But I did want to show, so when I finish these socks, oh, by the way, look at this adorable bag. Come on. Look at these knitting critters. I love this bag so much. It's like my go-to sock bag now. I got this bag from a friend who has started an online store, and it's called Skein Appeal. And she now and then puts in project bags. She also brings in some yarn to sell on there. I love this bag so much, and I can't even tell you how many compliments I get on this bag. I was at an appointment last week, and in being there, I wasn't even there 30 minutes, and like 3 people, I was just holding it like this along with my purse and whatever, and 3 people were like, oh my gosh, I love your lunch bag. And I was like, it's actually my knitting bag, but there is an apple inside. It's super cute. Go and check out Bethany's store, Skein Appeal, because actually I think she might even have one left still, but it's just perfect. I love it. And the only other acquisition I got is this beautiful skein of yarn. I got this from the Comfy Cozy Knits. And it is called The Beat Goes On. So it is a self-striping superwash merino sock, an 80-20 base, 115 grams. Oh, that's cool. It didn't come with a mini, so I'm wondering, I'm guessing that's why it's 115 grams. But when she had the swatch or the sample knit up on her Instagram page, it totally reminded me of the 80s, and the name goes so well, like the beat goes on. I love it. It's got all these pops of neon. So I think that's gonna be super fun pair of socks. Yeah, so that's it for my knitting content and my acquisitions. I did have one more thing to show you. This was a bit of a fail. The last time I podcasted, oops, I'm pulling out a thread. The last time I podcasted, I showed you this fabric that I had been planning to sew into a little project bag, and I had started it and it sat there unfinished for 2.5 months. So yesterday I sat down, not yesterday, 2 days ago, I sat down at the sewing machine and I started knitting it. So it's, here it is, that's the bottom. It's a big square, and this is it, like this. It opens up real wide. The interfacing that I used was lousy. It doesn't even feel like there's anything there. It's not really sturdy, which I don't like. I attempted to put a pocket on the inside. I don't know if you can see, but like it works, but it's not the greatest. I have to practice with that. It was my first time sewing a zipper, and I think I did that part okay. I did goof on the top stitching on one side. Oh, this side, it was a bit wonky, but my son, to be fair, was right beside me on the sewing machine, and it was hard to keep my hand steady because he kept pushing me. But here's what I don't like. This is why I think it's a fail. So I was kind of following 2 different sewing patterns plus like a video tutorial, and you know, me being brand new at sewing, thought I knew better. So I didn't really do what they were telling me to do. Did my own thing. I said, no, I want my box bottoms bigger than that. So I cut out 3.5-inch squares for my box bottoms. 3.5 inches here to here. What I didn't know is once it's sewn, you basically double that up, and then the entire amount, like, so the 3.5 and 3.5 makes 7 inches for the bottom, and I didn't know that. I thought it would just be a 3.5 at the bottom. So ideally, if I wanted like a 4-inch square bottom, 4-inch corner, I should have just done 2-inch corners, I guess. Does that make sense? Did I learn that properly? Like, it took me a while to figure that out. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm still doing something wrong. Maybe that's not right. I don't know. I think if it was more of a sturdy interfacing, it would be better, because it is a nice boxy size. But when it's closed, it looks weird. Is it just me, or does it look weird? Like, the size looks weird. It's like, it's not good, guys. It's not good. So this is just gonna be my around the house project bag, or what I was thinking maybe doing is using it as like a little traveling makeup bag, because it is deep enough. I do like how tall it is, and I do like that I have pockets in there that I could put like my lip gloss in and whatnot. And if it's got a lot of stuff, it'll hold its shape. So that was my epic fail, guys. But you know, you gotta laugh it off. If you can't laugh, what else can you do? So that's all I think I had to share today. Again, I'm sorry for all those interruptions that kept happening. If you're done with and don't want to hear anything else, since there's no more knitting content, thanks for sticking around. Do I have anything else to share? Let me think. I did finish reading the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, and oh boy, I mean, if you haven't read it yet, I think I'm one of the last people on the planet to have read it, but if you haven't read it yet, like, give it a read. I can't say that I'm a big fantasy person, but I do love this whole world that was created by Sarah J. Maas. So that's great. I have started reading Verity, but I haven't picked it up in about a week. It's an easy read, but I've just been sidetracked doing other things. Also, I mean, not to be a downer or anything, like I haven't been doing well. My concussion symptoms came back full force, really intense, mid to end of September. And I had to take some time away from work. I've gone back to the specialty clinics. I've met with neurology, OT, PT. So they've sort of made a plan to get me back on track. But, you know, that was one of the reasons I wasn't able to film or to record a podcast. In addition to just finding it hard to find time alone to record, I just wasn't feeling well. I couldn't hold my head up. The migraines have been so intense, and on top of that, I'm experiencing so much dizziness, and it turns out one side of my vestibular is under functioning, which is contributing to all this dizziness. So now I have to go through another 12-week program. They've referred me to that. So 12-week program of treatments, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I mean, hopefully things might work this time. But today I was feeling sort of okay and in good spirits, so I thought, let's just give it a shot. You know, life happens, and I've had a lot of support around me, and it's not been easy, but I do have to say the knitting and the crochet really has literally been my therapy through this. Boy, I feel like that's getting heavy and serious. Let's keep it light. So I'm just gonna keep knitting away. I had some other things I want to show. I'll show them next time. I don't want to keep this too long. But, you know, if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for continuing to come back. It means the world to me, really does, to have a community to share things with. And if you are new to this channel, I hope you like what you saw. I really hope that I can bring some fun content your way, and maybe give you some inspiration for a new project, and just put a smile on your face. So that's all, folks. I think I'm going to say goodbye and wish you happy knitting.